This topic is projectile motion. Okay, so basically uh, this is motion in 2D, motion in a plane or 2D we can say motion in 2 dimension. Okay, so this projectile will come under this topic, motion in a plane or motion in 2D. Okay, now what is projectile? Okay, so in projectile, I think you all must have done some. You must have played in the ground or something. That if you throw the ball, this is the ground. Okay, if you throw the ball at some angle theta from the ground, then you will see that okay, you will see that this object will follow certain path like this, and it will again come back to the ground at certain point B. Okay, so this is the point where we have thrown the object, and this is the point where it reaches. Okay, so that this motion of the particle under the action of gravity is known as projectile motion. Yes, you can see that when you kick a football from the ground, the path followed by the football will be a projectile path. Okay, so the motion of the body under the action of gravity, basically this is motion under the gravity only or not? This is the motion under the gravity. Okay, and the path which is followed by this particle is projectile path. Okay, so what is projectile? First of all, projectile is basically when an object when an object is in flight, when the object is in flight after being thrown, after being projected from the ground, projected from the ground at some angle theta, at certain angle. Okay, so an object is in a flight after being projected from the ground at certain angle is called projectile. Is called projectile. Okay, so projectile is basically an object which has been thrown from the ground. Okay, an object in a flight after being projected from the ground is known as projectile. Okay, and the motion which this particle will perform, and the motion of the particle is projectile motion, and the motion of this particle. Okay, wait. Okay, and the motion of this particle under the action of gravity is known as projectile motion. Okay, and the motion of the object, and the motion of the object is projectile motion. Okay, we can see that this particle is following a certain type of path, and that path is known as projectile path. Okay, or projectile motion. Okay, now let us analyze something here. First of all, can you tell me one thing? That why this object came back to the ground? Why this object came back to the ground? Due to gravity. Very good. Okay, due to gravity it is coming back to the ground. Very good. Okay, if the gravity was not present, then what would have been the path of the particle? Just tell me. If gravity was not present, if you are in some planet where there is no gravity, yes, it would have gone in a straight line. Very good. Yes, yes, yes. Fine. So if the gravity would have not present, the path of the particle would be an exactly straight line like this. But due to the action of gravity, because the gravity will do what? The gravity will try to pull the object downward. Due to the pulling of the object downward, the path of this projectile, the path which it will follow will not be a straight line. It will be some curve will be there, and that curve path is known as projectile path. Okay, That curved path is known as projectile path. Now, one thing more, in our analysis of projectile motion, we assume one thing. We assume that there is no air resistance. We assume that there is no air resistance. Fine. So air resistance is absent here. No air resistance. Okay, fine. So in this we have no air resistance. Only gravity is there, which is pulling the object downward. Okay. So if gravity would have not been there, then if you throw the object, it would have traveled in a straight line. Okay. But since there is a gravity, it will pull the object downward. Due to this action of gravity, the path will change. Now the path will be a curved path, and that curved path is known as projectile path. Okay, fine. Now somebody asked me that, sir, how this projectile is different from motion and the gravity. Okay, see, both are same thing only. Motion and the gravity. It is also the path. The particle is moving under the gravity only. Na? It is same. It is same like before. But in the previous kinematics 1D, we have only taken the one dimension. Okay, here we will take two dimensions. That is the difference here. I hope you got this now. Yes, here it is two dimension path. Okay, there was only single dimension, and both are under gravity only. Air resistance means like you can see like when you just think just when you are moving at a very high speed. Okay, when you are in a car, bike, you are moving in a very high speed. You will feel some force due to the air. Have you noticed that if you are in a very high speed, the air will exert some force over your body. That force is air resistance. Means the air is resisting your motion. Okay. In this case, whenever we are discussing projectile motion, we neglect this air resistance. Okay. We ignore this air resistance. Fine. Okay. So we are basically taking the means mm, practically we are basically doing theoretical part where there is no air resistance. Okay, fine. Now the motion of the object will be projectile motion here. Okay, and the object which we are throwing is known as projectile. So the object which we are throwing in the air, this is known as projectile. Okay, projectile can be anything. It can be ball. It can be any of the object. Okay, fine. Now you just think on this point. Next point we can say that the motion of the projectile can be assumed as or may be thought the motion of the projectile may be thought of a result of separate two separate component two separate occurring component of motion. Okay, we can think this projectile to be uh, we can think a projectile to be a two separate motion. Now how can it be possible? Just think, just see here. If you look at this condition, this is a projectile. Okay, we are throwing the object from this point. Okay, so this we can assume an x-axis. Can we say this is x-axis? Can we say this as y-axis? Okay, can we assume this as y-axis or not? Okay, so this is your y-axis, this is your x-axis. Now you think of one point. When we are throwing this object with certain velocity v at an angle theta, then this velocity can have two components. One component can be what? Along the x-axis, which is v cos theta, correct now? And other component can be along the y-axis. Okay, so this is your y-axis. Okay, so another component can be along the y-axis, which is v cos theta, v sin theta. This is v sin theta. Okay, so we can see that this projectile motion can be separated into uh, two different motion, one along the x-axis, one along the y-axis. Okay, now you tell me one thing. This component of velocity along the x-axis is responsible for displacement of the body along the x-axis, and the component along the y-axis is responsible for moving the object in the y-axis. Correct now? So when you combine both the motion, the motion would be in a plane, not in a one dimension. It would be in a plane. Plane, you understand? It would be in XY plane. Okay. And how it is possible? Because we have two separate component of velocity, one along the x-axis, other along the y-axis. Because of these two separate component, we will have two separate motion. Okay, one along the x, other along the y. And if you combine both the motion, then it would be motion in a plane. Okay, that is what I'm trying to explain to you, that the motion of the projectile may be thought as the two separate occurring motion. Means we can assume like two different motion, one along the x-axis, other along the y-axis. The x-axis motion is responsible for x displacement along the x-axis. The component along the y is responsible for y. Okay, and if you combine both, it becomes a projectile motion or a motion in a plane. Okay, fine, understood. So when theta is 90 degree, then it is only one dimension motion, na? If you take theta as 90 degree, then it is only one dimension motion. If you take theta as 0, then only one dimension motion. Means if you take theta as 90, means the body will move along the x-axis, y-axis. If you take the theta as 0, it will move along the x-axis only. But if you take any other angle, like 45, 30, any angle you take, then that particle will move simultaneously both in x and both in y-axis. Simultaneously it will move. Okay, I hope you got this point. Your doubt is fine that if it is 90, it should be in y-axis. If it is 0, means along the x-axis. Okay, fine. So this point is very important, that the motion of this projectile can be thought of as a result of two separate occurring motion. One along the x-axis, one along one along the x-axis, and other along the y-axis. Along y-axis. Okay. And if we combine both the motion, we get the motion in a plane. Okay. Fine. Y is the displacement along the y-axis. X is the displacement along the x-axis. Okay. Fine. I'll just understand here for now. Okay. Now you just think on this point. Just tell me, in this motion of the projectile, what is the acceleration there? Means which acceleration is there? Means if you take this projectile motion, what is the acceleration here? It is minus g, yes. So only one acceleration is there, that is minus g. Correct or not? Because it is under the gravity only now. Only gravity acceleration is there. Is there any acceleration along the x-axis? No, there is no acceleration along the x-axis. We have only acceleration along the y-axis. Okay, so we can see that we can make another point here, that we can make another point there, that one component is horizontal. Horizontal means x-axis. One component in horizontal direction without acceleration. Without acceleration. Okay. And the component along the vertical, direction is having an acceleration due to gravity, that is minus g. Okay, that is minus g. So in horizontal there is no acceleration. There is only acceleration of the vertical direction, which is acceleration due to gravity. Okay. Yes. See, your doubt I will clear. Okay. See, if there is no acceleration along the horizontal, will the velocity change along the horizontal? Can you tell me the point? If there is no acceleration along the horizontal, will the velocity change along the horizontal? No. Therefore, you can understand like this. There will be no change in velocity along the x-axis. Will, now tell me, will the velocity change in y-axis? Will the velocity change in y-axis? Yes, it will change. Means when you throw the object upward, its velocity will decrease. Okay. When it reaches the highest point, its velocity becomes 0. Correct now. And when it is moving downward, okay, its velocity will increase. Are you understanding this or not? Only if you see the y component only, then from this point to the highest point, its velocity will decrease because it is moving upward, gravity is acting downward. So its velocity will decrease, it becomes 0 at the highest point. Then it again its velocity will increase, but on the negative side. Okay, and it reaches the ground. Understood? So here along the y-axis, velocity will change. First decrease, then increase. Okay, and along the x-axis, it will always remain constant. Okay, understood? Fine. So very good point you have asked me. So we can see that one component along the horizontal without acceleration and other is along the vertical, that is minus g. Okay. Now let us analyze this projectile motion. So we will take this as x-axis, this as y-axis. Okay, fine. So we throw the object or projectile with some velocity v at an angle theta. Okay. So this object will follow projectile path like this. Okay, just wait. Okay, so this is x-axis, this is y-axis. Okay, so we have thrown the object with velocity v at an angle theta. So this particle will follow projectile path like this. Okay, now this component will have this velocity will have two component. One will be along the x-axis, which is v cos theta. Other is along the y-axis, which is v sin theta. Okay, now can you tell me? Now we can separately analyze the projectile motion. One along the x-axis, other along the y-axis. So if you take x-axis component, x-axis only, then what is the initial velocity of the x-axis? Initial velocity is what? V cos theta. If I take only x-axis component, the initial velocity is v cos theta. Correct now? What is the acceleration? So we can write the initial velocity along the x-axis as ux. So we can write this as ux. Okay, this as ux. Wait, this can be taken as ux. Okay, what is the acceleration along the x-axis? Can you tell me? What is the acceleration along the x-axis? 0. Very good. So this would be equal to 0. Okay. Now, how much it has displaced on the x-axis? We can take something like we can take r. Okay, I'll tell you what is r. First, just note that this is r. R is the displacement along the x-axis. So can we say x is equal to r? Okay, r I will tell you what is r. Fine. Okay, r is the range. Okay, that I will tell you. Fine. Now just look at the y-axis component. Y-axis. In y-axis, what is initial velocity? So initial velocity we can assume like uy. that would be equal to v sine theta. Correct now? V sine theta. What is the acceleration on the y-axis? That is minus g meter per second square, which is the acceleration due to gravity. Okay. Then what is the maximum displacement along the y-axis? We can assume as h. Okay. So maximum displacement along the y-axis is h. Okay. So we can see that we have break this projectile into two different components. One along the x-axis, other along the y-axis. Okay. And the one thing more, the point where we are throwing the object is taken as reference point, or we can take origin 0, 0. Okay. So 0, 0 is taken as the reference point or the point where we are throwing the projectile. Okay. And fine. So this is the projectile. So initial position is 0, 0. Okay. Fine. Now these are the initial condition of the particles. Okay. Now if I ask you, okay, find the velocity of particle after time t, after time t, along x-axis and y-axis. Can you get the answer for this? What is the velocity along the x and y-axis? See, this projectile is under the action of gravity. Okay, it is motion under gravity. So only acceleration which is present is acceleration due to gravity. Okay, there is no acceleration along the x-axis. Okay, that is why ax is 0. Okay, so if you take x-axis, the velocity after time t for x-axis, for x-axis, for y-axis. Okay, so for x-axis, what is the velocity? We can assume like vy. Vy will be equal to u cos theta into t only. Correct na? U cos theta into t. Okay, fine. Yes, u cos theta into t. Sorry, u cos theta only, not u cos theta into t. Okay, it is u cos theta. Okay, and what is the velocity on the y-axis? Vx. Okay, Vx is u cos theta, and velocity along the y-axis will be equal to uyt plus half ayt square. Correct na? What is uyt? Uyt is u sine theta into t minus half g. Sorry. Okay, sorry. I'll tell. See, velocity, final velocity on the y-axis is vy equal to uy plus ayt. Okay, so this would be equal to how much? U sine theta minus gt. So that is the velocity of the object after time t. That is u sine theta minus gt, and velocity of the object along the x-axis will be equal to u cos theta. Okay, fine. U cos theta. Now, if I ask you, find the position of the particle. Find the position of particle after time t. Can you get the answer for this? Along the x and along the y-axis. Okay, along the x, along the y. You can remove this x and y here. Okay, fine. So find the position of the particle after time t. Can you get the answer for this? See, initial condition. Just look at the initial condition. Okay, again I will repeat. See, if you throw the object with velocity v, angle is theta. So we have two initial component of the velocity, one along the x, other along the y. So if I separately analyze both the motion along the x-axis, what is the initial velocity? V cos theta. Along the y-axis, what is the initial velocity? V sin theta. Okay. Along the x-axis, what is the acceleration? 0, because there is no acceleration along the horizontal. Along the y-axis, what is the acceleration? Minus g. Okay, so we have separately analyzed the both condition. Now, what we have to find? We have to find the velocity of the particle after time t along the x, along the y. So along the x, Vx will be equal to u cos theta. Here we are using the equations of motion along the x and along the y. Okay, so don't confuse here. This is basically we are using the equation of motion along the x-axis, along the y-axis only. Okay, so along the x-axis, final velocity equal to initial velocity minus c. We can use this formula or not. Vx equal to ux, Vx equal to ux, Vx equal to ux plus axt. Okay, so uh, ux is u cos theta, a is 0, so it would be 0. So x-axis velocity, so velocity along the x-axis is u cos theta. Velocity along the y-axis will be u sin theta minus gt. Okay, fine. Okay, now if I ask you the position of the particle after time t along the x-axis and along the y-axis. Okay, so along the x-axis we can assume x must be equal to uxt plus half axt square, and y will be what? Uyt plus half ayt square. Correct or not? Okay, so along the x, ux is u cos theta, so u cos theta into t is the position after time t along the x-axis. Along the y-axis, what is the position? That is y equal to u sin theta into t minus half gt square. Okay, so these are the position after time t. Okay, after time t. Okay, understood? Did you get this or not? Okay, so these are some result of the projectile motion. First is initial velocity along the x-axis will be equal to b cos theta. Along the y-axis b sin theta. Ax is 0, ax is ay is minus g. Then velocity after time t along the x-axis is u cos theta. This is u sin theta minus gt. Okay, here it is u cos theta t into u sin theta t minus half gt square. Okay, fine. Okay, sorry, I have taken v there, so it should be v, not, sorry, I have taken v there. It should be v cos theta, not u cos theta. Okay, this should be v cos theta because I have taken v there. Okay, this should be v cos theta. This should be v cos theta. This should be v cos theta. Okay, because we have taken v there. Okay, you have not taken. Fine. V sin theta minus gt. Okay. Position can be expressed in x and y, I cap and j cap. That also I will do. Okay. For now, you understand this. The acceleration along the x is 0. Yes. See, I have written this formula, na, that x equal to uxt minus half axt square. Axt is 0, so it becomes u cos theta into t only. No? See, I am using the equation of motion here. Okay. Integration we will do. Okay. If you want, I will do integration also. Don't worry. Without integration, you can solve this problem. And why we do integration here? We don't need the integration here because it is under the constant acceleration. So constant acceleration means directly we can use equation of motion there. Okay. And why we use integration? Because initial velocity is constant, acceleration is constant. So how, why will use this? Okay, fine. We will only use integration when it is variable, if A is variable, okay, the portion for this weekly test is projectile and vector complete. Okay, fine. Okay, so I hope you understand this. So again, we'll draw this. So this is was the x-axis. This is your y-axis. We have the object which is thrown with some velocity v. Angle is theta. It will follow projectile path. Okay. Now there are some terms like time of the flight. So what is time of the flight of this projectile? What is the time of the flight? The time of the flight is the time taken by the particle to reach the ground. Okay, so time of the flight is time taken by projectile to reach the ground. Reach ground. That is known as time of the flight. Okay, that is known as time of the flight. Fine. Now, just tell me in this case. Okay, in this case, I'm telling you, we have thrown the object from point O or origin 0, comma 0. Fine. This projectile has followed the projectile path and it reaches some point A. Okay, we can take this point coordinate as r comma 0. We can take this. Okay, for now you understand r comma 0. Okay, now you tell me one thing. When this object or this projectile reaches the ground, okay, then what is the displacement of the particle along the y-axis? What is the displacement of the particle along the y-axis, not on the x-axis? Y-axis is 0. Yes, very good. So can we say that the displacement of this projectile, the displacement of this projectile along y-axis will be 0? Is this correct or not? Yes or no? Yes. So if I apply the equation of motion along the y-axis, only along the y-axis we apply. Okay. Then I can write here as sy is the displacement along the y-axis. Okay, is equal to uyt minus half ayt square. Sy is the displacement along the y-axis. Okay, uy is the component of the u along the y-axis, which is u sine theta. So uy is u sine theta. Okay, fine. Which is the component along the y-axis. Okay, minus half a by t square. Ay will be minus g. Sorry, it should be plus, not minus here. This should be plus here. Plus a by t square. Okay, a by t square. T is the time taken, time of the flight. Okay, fine. Okay, so what is the displacement of the particle when it reaches the ground? Again, the displacement on the y-axis is 0. Okay, so can I put here as 0 equal to uyt minus half gt square? Correct now? Uyt minus half gt square. Okay, fine. So if you solve this, what we'll get? Half gt square, half gt square equal to uyt. T get cancelled out. We get t equal to time of flight equal to 2uy by g. So time of the flight is 2uy by g. Okay, and uy value we know is what? U sine theta. So the time of flight can be written as 2u sine theta by g. Okay, 2u sine theta by g is the time of the flight here. So we denote the time of the flight. We denote the time of the flight by capital T. Okay, so write this as capital T. Okay, fine. So time of the flight will be 2u sine theta by g. Okay, fine. 2u sin, it is v, sorry. Okay, my mistake, it is v, not u. Okay. This is v. You are automatically understand it should be v, okay, not u. 2v sin theta by g. Okay, fine. Okay, see, again I explain to you that when you throw the projectile from origin, it reaches certain point A. Okay, so what is the displacement of the particle along the y-axis? 0, because it started from origin, and y-axis again remains 0. See, y-axis is 0 here and y-axis is 0 here, means displacement is 0 along the y-axis. So displacement of the projectile along the y-axis would be 0. If it is 0, can we use the equation of motion along the y-axis? This is the equation of motion, along y-axis, okay, that is sy equal to u by t plus half a by t square. Okay, displacement along the y is 0, so we can write as 0 u by t minus half gt square. If you take on this side, we get half gt square equal to u by t. So time of the flight equal to 2u y by g. Okay, fine. That is 2u sin theta, 2v sin theta by g. Okay, fine. Now one thing you can have you observed one thing? Have you observed one thing that just tell me one thing. Have you observed one thing that just go back to this kinematics 1D. Okay, just tell me one thing. When I was throwing the object vertically upward with some initial velocity v, we can take here. Okay, with some initial velocity v, then what was the time of the flight? Can you tell me? What was the time of the flight? Time of flight was 2v by g. Correct now? 2v by g. Now you tell me one thing. In this case, when you are throwing the vertically upward, what was the component of x? There was no component of x. Or you can say that the theta from the ground was 90 degree or not. The theta from the ground was 90 degree. Therefore, if you use this formula, it would have been 2v by g. So if theta is 90 degree, means it becomes the motion under gravity formula. Motion under gravity case. Understood? Motion under gravity when it is y-axis. Ha, 90 degree means we are throwing the projectile upward. So the time of flight was 2v sin theta by g. Okay, 2v sin 90 is 1, so 2v by g. So if you can remember, this is the exact formula. This is the exact formula of time of the flight. That is 2u by u 2u uy by g. 2uy by g. Okay. Ha, we take only y axis. Why we take only y axis? I am just correlating this projectile with 1D. Okay. If you can understand, and it is good for you. I am relating this projectile to 1D. So in 1D, if you throw the vertically upward, okay, the time of the flight was 2v by g, okay, 2u by g, okay. Now you can assume a projectile when you throw the projectile in 90 degree from the ground, then it is the motion and the gravity concept. Okay, yes or no? Ha, 90 degree na. It is 90 degree, so it is like a motion in the gravity. Okay, fine. If you don't understand, then no problem. Just okay. Okay, see, here you make a correction here. Here we are throwing the body with u. Okay, that would be easy for us. Okay, because we have already learned that u is the initial velocity. Fine. So u sin theta, this would be u cos theta. So wherever v is there, you change to u. Okay, then it is easy for me to analyze. Okay, this would be u. 2u sin theta by g, not v. Okay, fine. So we are throwing the object with u velocity, not v velocity. Fine. So please make a correction there. It should be u sin theta. Okay. Both are correct, but we have studied that initial velocity is u, so it would be easier for us to remember. Okay, so we are throwing the object with initial velocity u there. Okay, fine. I hope you understand the time of the flight or not. Previous also you can change to u. Okay, this also you can change to u. I've taken that v, so it should be u because u is easier for us to analyze. Okay, u, u, u. Okay, u. Just change to u. Okay, there is no harm. Okay, you can change to u or v, no problem in that. Okay, but it is convention. Okay, fine. It is simply convention. Okay, so just change to u, no problem in that. Okay, fine. Straight only. Yes. Okay, next is the range. Next is the horizontal range of the projectile. Next is the horizontal range. So time of the flight we understood. Okay, now we are going for horizontal range. Horizontal range. Okay, of projectile. Now what is horizontal range? Range is the range is the maximum displacement of the particle. Maximum displacement of particle along the x-axis. Along the x-axis, what is the maximum displacement of the particle is known as range. Okay, so range is the maximum displacement of the particle along the x-axis. So range is the maximum displacement. See, why we are finding range after time? Because we can know the time of the flight, then we can get the range easily. Okay, okay. So maximum displacement along the y-axis, x-axis is the range here. Okay, now you think here we have thrown the object from origin. Okay, it reaches a. I told you we denote this as range, r-a-n-g, range by r. Okay, so the coordinate of this point will be r comma 0. Okay, now if I have to take the horizontal range, okay, horizontal range means we have to look at the component of the velocity along the x-axis, because the component along the x-axis is only responsible for horizontal displacement. Component along the y is responsible for vertical displacement. Okay, so the displacement along the x is given by uxt. Yes or no? The displacement along the axis is given by uxt, and if this displacement is maximum, we say as range. Okay, so can we say this? The range will be equal to ux into t, where t is the time of the flight, ux is the component of velocity along the x-axis, ux is the component of the velocity along the x-axis. Okay, fine, correct now. So component along the x-axis is ux, and this is the time of the flight. So can we say ux into time of the flight is what? 2uy by g. Okay, so time of flight is 2uy by g. Therefore, the range will be equal to 2ux uy, 2ux 2ux uy by g. This is the horizontal range of the projectile. That is 2ux uy by g. Now what is ux here? Ux is the component of the velocity along the x-axis. This is ux, which is equal to u cos theta. Is this correct or not? What is uy? Uy is the component along the y-axis. Okay, so where can we say the range r will be equal to 2 u cos theta into u sin theta by g. Is this correct or not? 2u 2u cos theta into u sin theta by g. So can we write this as 2u square sin theta cos theta by g. If you further modify 2 sin theta cos theta is equal to 2 sin theta cos theta is equal to sin 2 theta. This is a trigonometry formula which we have studied. So it should be u square sin 2 theta by g is the horizontal range. U square sin 2 theta by g is the horizontal range. Yes. See how this time of flight came in the range. See see, just look at this expression. The displacement along the x-axis after time t is given by u cos theta into t. Is this correct or not? If the displacement is maximum, then it is a range. Range means ux into t. T is the time of the flight. Okay. When it reaches the ground, how much time it has taken? The time taken by the projectile to reach the ground is time of the flight. So can we say this as what? Range equal to ux into t. T is the time of the flight here. Okay, fine. Understood. So range will be equal to u square sin 2 theta by g, or we can also write as 2ux uy by g. Both the formulas are correct. Okay. So according to our convenience, we can use both the formulas. Okay. Did you get this or not? Any doubt up to now? Okay. Okay. You may copy this. No. Zero displacement along the y-axis I have taken, not along the x-axis. I clearly mentioned that it is the displacement along the y-axis is taken as zero when it reaches the ground. Okay, just listen to my words properly. Along the axis there will be displacement, that is range. Okay, fine. Okay, next is the maximum height reached by the particle. Next is the maximum height. Maximum height reached. Okay. Yes, along the x-axis maximum displacement is r. Along the y-axis there is no displacement. Okay, fine. See, just see there. Okay, you tell me one thing. You throw the object from this point O and it reaches point A. How much time it has taken? Tell me. How much time it has taken? Time of the flight. Time of the flight basically means what? How much time the projectile has taken again to reach the ground. So time taken by the particle will be what? T only, na? 2uy by g. So if I have to get the horizontal range, it should be ux into t, time of the flight. Okay. Distance, I'm not talking about distance here. Distance, I will explain to you. Distance you will not get in the problem. In NEET, you will not get the distance. Okay. In J, you will get the distance. Fine. For NEET, it is no distance. Both vectors and projectile both come under Mosin plane only. Okay. Yes. Okay, maximum height reached by the particle. So again, see, I told you, when can you have the maximum height of the particle? When the velocity along the y-axis becomes 0, then only you can have the maximum height, na? Like the normal example which we have taken. We have taken the object we are throwing upward. Okay. When can you say the maximum height? When the final velocity is 0 along the y-axis. Along the y-axis I'm talking about. Okay. So if I use the equation of motion along the y-axis, equation of motion along y-axis. Okay. then can I write here as y means displacement along the y-axis equal to v vy whole square minus uy whole square by 2 into ay. Can we use this equation or not? Vy whole square minus uy whole square by 2ay. Vy whole square means final velocity. U is the initial velocity. Ay is the acceleration along the y-axis. Okay, fine. So, so when can you have the maximum height? When velocity along the y-axis becomes 0 meter per second. Okay, so can we say maximum height means y become h. H we denote the maximum height as h. So maximum height h max will be equal to 0 square minus uy square by 2 into minus g. Okay, so we get the maximum height as uy square by 2g. Okay, fine. This is the maximum height of the particle. Okay, uy value we know it is u sine theta. So can we also write this as what? H max equal to u sine theta whole square by 2g, or it could be what? U square sine square theta by 2g is the maximum height of the particle. That is u square sine square theta by 2g. Okay, understood. U square sine square theta by 2g. That is the maximum height formula. Did you all get this or not? In 1D it would be what? U by 2g. Means in 1D what is the formula? Uy squared by 2g. Okay. Okay. Now, now if I ask you, find the time to find the time, find the time for projectile for maximum height. Means find the time for projectile or for maximum height. What is the time taken by the projectile to reach the maximum height? Okay, can you find this? Find the time taken by the projectile to reach the maximum height. See, u sine theta by g. Very good. Okay, so for maximum height, again the concept remains same. That velocity along the y-axis should be 0. Okay, initial velocity along the y-axis uy, which is u cos theta. The acceleration along the y-axis is minus g. Okay, so if I use equation of motion there, that uy equal to uy, by equal to uy minus gt. Okay, so by is 0 equal to u cos theta minus g into t. Okay, so we get what? Time taken to reach the maximum height is u cos theta by g, or we can also write as uy by g. Okay, that is the time taken for the maximum height, that is uy by g. Okay, did you all get this or not? I hope you are getting something. Like uy means u sin theta only. Yes, yes. Ux by t is not the right answer. Okay. Oh, it is u sin theta. Sorry. Wait. Otherwise, you will say that's u sin theta, not u cos theta. Okay. This would be u sin theta. If I do some mistake, you tell me. Okay. Fine. See, I don't remember the formulas. Okay. So I have to derive the formula. So in deriving, maybe I may make a mistake in between. So you tell me the mistake. Okay. Fine. Okay. So these are the time of the flight for the maximum height. Okay. So can we do one problem? Small problem we can we do. Okay, very small problem we can do for your practice. Like, okay, I will not write the question. Just a projectile is thrown with the initial speed of 50 meter per second at an angle of 37 degree. Okay, our projectile is thrown with the initial speed of 50 meter per second at an angle of 37 degree. Find the time of the flight. Second, maximum height. Third, the range. So our projectile is thrown. Our projectile is thrown with 50 meter per second. Okay, at 37 degree from the ground. Okay, fine. So 6 seconds is time of the flight. Fine. Then range and height. What is the range and what is the height here? What is the range? What is the height? 45 is the height. Very good. And range. Take G as 10 only. Don't take as 9.8. Okay. Take G as 10 minus 10 meter per second square. Okay. Fine. So I think we can do this. Uh, this uh, this projectile will have two component. Okay. So the projectile is thrown with 50 meter per second. Okay. So component along the x-axis will be equal to how much? 40 meter per second. Okay. Component along the y-axis is how much? 30 meter per second. Okay. This angle is 37 degree. Okay. So we found the value of ux and uy. Okay. So ux is how much? 40 meter per second. Uy is how much? 30 meter per second. Is this correct or not? Okay. Now what is that formula of time of the flight? See, how did I find this is u cos 37. U cos 37 is 40 meter per second. This is u cos 37 degree. Okay. I will not tell you again how to find cos 37 value. I have told that before also. Okay. Fine. Am I correct or not? I have told before also you how to find cos 37 value. Okay. So first part is time of the flight. That is 2uy by g. Okay. So 2 into 30 by 10. That will come as 6 seconds is time of the flight. Second, range. Range is what? 2 ux uy by g. Okay. So 2 into ux is how much? 40. Uy is how much? 30 by 10. So it will come as 240 meter is the range. Okay. Then height. Then height. For maximum height, the formula is uy whole square by 2g. Uy whole square by 2g. So uy is how much? 30. So 30 whole square by 2 into 10. This is 900 by 2 into 10. So I think 45 meter is the answer. Okay. So directly we can use this concept or formula, we can get the answer. Okay. G is minus 10, but in this formula, we have already taken the G as minus 10. Okay. Just look at the derivation which I have done. Fine. You will understand why G is taken as 10 only. Okay. You should understand these small things. Okay. Fine. How I got 45, 40 meter? I told you that cos 37 value is how much? Cos 37 is 4 by 5. So 4 by 5 into 50 is how much? 40 meter per second. No? That is why when I was teaching trigonometry, I told you these are the important concepts. You have to remember. Okay, fine. River drift problem will not be there. Only projectile and vectors are there. Okay. River drift problem is in relative 2D. That I will teach you after projectile. Okay. Fine. Okay. Thank you all.